what happened? All those terms were 60 terms, right? But today we at the Boxers Training Channel, Jack Daniels at the Boxers Training Channel, and what's going on with you, right? That's new, like a new adage. What's going on with it? That's a new one of those new youngster adages, right? Anyway, let's have some conversation, right? I made representation yesterday to a lot of stuff pertaining to Saul Canelo Alvarez, and um, I was under the impression that the intel that I had gathered in regard to that particular topic yesterday, which was concerning Saul Canelo Alvarez, was accurate. The source in question that presented me with this information, right, normally is 100% correct. Shout out to D Mexican G in the house. So, come to find out that all of the information that I had yesterday wasn't as um, compelling in the sense that it was accurate, uh, and I have to be the giant in the house, right? And insert a correction, right? The fight that I was so frustrated about that was allegedly off, right? Actually, that was realistic in the sense that that was what was reported, right? Canelo Alvarez decided that he was going down another path, which was with Jake Paul instead of Terrence Bud Crawford, right? And I, being the boxing pundit that I am, right, felt that that information was reliable 100%. But it wasn't accurate in and of itself, and therefore I stand corrected in regards to the thing that I'm about to explain in regards to the fight. Yes, actually he did. He did. He did. But come to find out in the chat, the assertions that I made yesterday were correct in the sense that that's what really happened. But what wasn't presented was the fact that Saul Canelo Alvarez thought that he would become the consummate businessman. And you have to give him credit for what he pulled off. He pulled this one off. He made me and everybody else look like a dang fool in the sense that we said that the fight was canceled. The fight actually wasn't canceled because, again, I don't think the other podcasts were intelligent enough, obviously, to indicate or suggest that there could Saul Canelo Alvarez couldn't have gotten out of the fight with Terrence Crawford, but it was said that he got out of the contract with Terrence Crawford, but that wasn't the case. What really was the case was, excuse me, Saul Canelo Alvarez again called himself being the consummate businessman, and he pulled the wool over our faces and Turkey Al Sheikh. He put himself in the position after making that bogus statement about he's canceling the fight with Terrence Bud Crawford after the fight was allegedly had already been made, and it was right. So all the back and forth that I was talking about yesterday in regard to the contract, this and the contract, this, that was true. But contract that are signed cannot be gotten out of. And so Saul Canelo Alvarez didn't try to get out of the contract, which Saul Canelo Alvarez did. He used the dialogue that the contract, the, no, that the fight was off to upgrade his ability to go back to Turkey Al Sheikh and say, I want I want a 4 fight deal instead of whatever he had on the table. I guess it was a 3 fight deal. He wanted a 4 fight deal, and actually he pulled it off. Is that Keegan? Keegan Davis shot in the house. Shout out to Keegan Davis. Can cannot what is that? Cannot YouTube. Okay. Mexican G, did you get that? Saul Canelo Alvarez pulled the wool off all over all our eyes, man. He did one of them old school uh gang related techniques, right? he perpetrated fraud on everybody, and it worked. Right? He went back into Turkey Al Sheikh and negotiated. Instead of I think it was a three fight deal, he wanted a four fight deal, and that's what he got. The fight is back on, right? And it's good because, in my opinion, because Torsberg Crawford was of the opinion also that the fight was off. He believed in everything that was said from Saul Canelo, and that was that the fight was canceled because he was going to fight Jake Paul. So after that was said, Torsberg Crawford came on and gave his opinion about Saul Canelo Alvarez, and that was that Saul Canelo Alvarez was scared of him, and he didn't want no parts of Bud Crawford, right? I mean, he actually. I gotta give him credit. That Saul Canelo Alvarez, right? He played us off big time, but it was to his advantage. And this country that we live in ain't nothing wrong with that. We live in a capitalist system, as I said that 1,000 times before, right? We live in a capitalist system, and if you put yourself in a position, or I put myself in a position where the opposition can capitalize on me and win whatever it is that I'm trying to get at, so be it. That's the nature of the country and the principles that we live in, right? So I can't be mad at Saul Canelo Alvarez. I can just humbly apologize to y'all for asserting information that wasn't totally accurate, right? It had been said by Saul Canelo Alvarez, but it wasn't accurate, right? And actually, there was no way for me to distinguish or interpretate whether it was legitimate or not, right? Because actually it came from the horse's mouth, and that was Saul Canelo Alvarez. It's a little funny if you think about it, man. Dude played all of us out of pocket. You and me included, the Mexican G. He played on us. But that's all right. It doesn't change the fact that at the end of the day or night, Saul Canelo Alvarez is still a duck. He is going to be a duck until he fights at least David Benavidez. Not to mention Dimitri Bivol, right? He don't want to have nothing to do with those two guys in the ring, and I kind of get it, right? You know what I'm saying? And it is my understanding that he is absolutely and positively not going to fight them, right? I mean, if it's about the bag, if it's about money, right? And definitely when it comes to David Benavidez, you're gonna get paid, right? Because the entire world wants to see Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez. You know what I mean? That is, I mean, the Crawford fight is a huge basket of money, also, right? But the Benavidez versus Saul Canelo Alvarez fight, humongous, humongous, right? I mean, that's the type of money. Even after the government takes his fair share, I think it's what is it, 33% out of that that 100 million, right? He would still have enough money to I don't want to say live off of for the rest of his life, because when you get in those type of tax brackets, right, and your monthly allowance for your bills, whatever, your mortgage, if you have one, I just don't believe a person would have a mortgage that's getting the kind of money that boxes at the top echelon of the game wouldn't be in a position to buy the house outright, right? I mean, you know what I mean? For me, the piece of property that I bought, this piece of property in Arkansas, right, that I own outright, I did that because I was smart enough to know that the interest that I'm going to be paying for 30 years, right, is going to be darn near as much as I paid for the property. I mean, so you know what I mean. When you get to talking about business and common sense analogy, right? Common sense analogy must always prevail when it comes to your money. You have to think in a common sense way of thinking. You know, in order to um, maintain some stability in your objective, which is to be able to put yourself in a position through your life, right, where you can have enough money to pay your bills and do whatever it is that you want to do. You know what I mean? That's what it's about in life to me. You know what I mean? I believe that for those of us that are in a financial position where it's that we don't really have to worry about um, deals. You know, I mean, by no means am I suggesting to you that I'm a millionaire or that I got um, tons and tons of money, because I don't, right? But I will say that I can manage my uh, income, right? I can manage my income and pay my bills, right, without having to worry about if something happens in between. You know what I mean? Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, down in the part of Arkansas that my property's on, right? My property taxes are like, I want to say $300 a year, which is nothing. That is absolutely nothing compared to the taxes that I paid in California. You know what I mean? And so it's like, why wouldn't you? And this goes to you in the chat too. You know what I'm saying? Common sense analogy, right? I know a lot of people love where they live in, the state, whatever, right? The city that they live in, right? But here's the deal: why would you stay in a spot like Dallas, Texas, uh, California, San Francisco, and Oakland specifically, right? Knowing that your rent is going to be uh, for for a 2 bedroom, $2,500 a month. Oh, no. That was no. I want to say pretty close to $3,000 a month. Now, here's the thing: the majority of the people in California, um, in Dallas, Texas, right? They don't have jobs that create that type of a return, that type of return for the services rendered for the job. You know what I mean? They don't make that much. So how in the hell could you live up under that heart-wrenching stress and strain, knowing that you don't make enough to not only pay your mortgage, but you got to pay light, you got to pay your telephone, you got to pay cable, you got to pay you got to pay a whole bunch of stuff, right? To be able to live leisurely. Leisurely is a good word, right? Not in a rich sense, but leisurely, right? Being able to take care of your bills and not have to stress and worry about how you gonna feed yourself or how you gonna pay your more. You know what I'm saying? You look. What I'm saying to y'all is this: stop worrying about where you live at. If you can get to a place that you can afford to pay your bills, buy your food, and have a little happiness in your life. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying that to say that for me, that's what I do. Right? I don't have to worry about none of that because I removed myself from that type of environment. You know what I mean? I removed myself from those. My rent was what? No, I take it back. This was before it really got really just started getting crazy, right? My rent was like I want to say $1,800 a month, 3 bedroom, right? 3 bedroom home, right? Which wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad, but you know what I'm saying. I had and there's another thing. I always, if I'm gonna buy a car, I am definitely not going to have a monthly bill on it, right? Well, it's not really called a mortgage. I'm gonna have um, I'm gonna have a monthly uh, bill on the car. Okay, I'm not gonna have that because I believe in paying out, paying right, whatever the car is. I don't give a damn what it is, if it's new, used, whatever. Right? Most of my cars have been new until I got to the point where I'm saying, what the hell? I need a new car every year for? That is stupid. That only enriches the car dealer, not you. You know what I'm saying? You got a good car, what, 2 or 3 years old, doesn't have that many miles on it. Why would you buy a new car? See what I'm saying? What I'm trying to get y'all to understand it. We yeah, yeah, they're at California property taxes. Yeah, they brutal. Mexican, you live in California. Yeah, I know, because my people in California, man. Well, I've been here. I'm back and forth, right? But the majority of my time is, you know what I'm saying, in the cheapest state in the world, Arkansas, right? But I stayed in California. I mean, I'm saying I was reared in California. You know, that's why you don't hear it. Oh, well, that old cow over there. Yeah, he needs the boy that old heifer. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about all that, but I will say that I have learned a lot since I've been here about the South, and I will take note to the fact that I was actually born in the South of Louisiana, right? But we, like most people, we gravitated, we gravitated to the north, California, right? But I'm just saying, I'm telling you, I'm trying to put a bug in y'all ear, man, but stop being stupid and stop being uh, in a position where and then you can't help from being stressed out if you're working every day hard. Your wife is working every day hard. You gotta pay your mortgage. You gotta pay a car bill. You gotta pay for gas, electric. You gotta pay. You gotta pay. Right? And at the end of the day, you know, especially if you got kids, especially if you got kids, right? Uh, you people need to consider maybe moving to a lesser expensive state. You know what I'm saying? It might not be pleasing to the desire to want to be where you are, right? But at the end of the day, yeah, yeah, I can say hey man, they, they're. I don't know. Okay, I won't really go off into a detail about the housing. I don't know what the housing market in Texas is, but I'm quite sure they're cheaper than California. The Mexican chief. I know that people can really have a good life paying the mortgages and all the expenses associated with living in California and have a semblance of happiness. You know what I'm saying? It's hard, brother. It is hard. But man, look, the Mexican chief, when I tell you this, man, you see me smiling. I ain't mad at nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? I do exactly what the hell I want to do. You know what I mean? I mean, in the South, you know, what thing, you know what I'm talking about, right? But I can deal with that. I'm quite sure you could deal with that, right? You're an intelligent man. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying to y'all that's having it hard. You know what I'm saying? Reconsider your circumstances. Reconsider. Uh, you no, consider maybe finding alternatives, right? To to be able to live with a certain man. Because hey, I'm telling you, man, the way that this system is, especially for um, the lower income bracket people of the state of the country, right? It ain't good. It ain't good, man. That's right. They won't. You ain't getting no stacks over there. Yeah, man, but I just need to tell y'all that, man, cause that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I try to help while I can, man. Man, as a matter of fact, man, here's another thing, man. I got you know what I'm saying. I want to say right. Last night, a guy called me uh, from I think it was S S F S M C United United States Medical Center, San Francisco, right? And um, I've been knowing this cat for ever, you know what I'm saying? But he got into some trouble about I want to say 40 years ago, and he went to prison, and he stayed in prison for like 40 something years. He had a hot one, what we call a hot one. I'm not going to interpret it. I'm going to let y'all in the chat that's in the know in terms of that for what it is, right? He did about 42 years, right? And couple of years ago, they kicked him out. I mean, when I say kicked him out, yeah, kicked him out, right? Um, they literally discharged him because he had cancer, right? They didn't give him nothing medically to go into the place to go into the city and upon release. They didn't give him no medical help or nothing. Just kicked him out, right? And say, "Get your ass out of here and die." You know what I mean? And he's been home about 2 years, right? He had 6 months to live once he got out of the pen, right? And when he got out of the pen, he called me. We talked. I sent him a few dollars, and you know what I'm saying, tried to help him out. And we communicated often, right? But I hadn't heard from him in a month or two, right? And I assumed through other contacts that he was doing okay. So he called me and he said, "Man, I'm in the hospital, man. This is my second trip to the hospital, and uh, uh, that's as a result of I'm having problems with, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna try to." I said, "Hold it right there. I don't want to hear nothing about what you trying, nothing about what you're trying to do, right? What you're gonna do is you're gonna fight this mess and you're gonna live, right? Because honestly, if they told you you got 6 months to live, right, and you still kicking up dust 2 years after that, right, you trying to do some living, right? And I got that. So for you to tell me you trying to do it, you don't have that option to tell me about what you're trying to do, right? What you gonna get procedure tomorrow, right? And you're gonna call me back and we're gonna talk about it, right? You know what I'm saying is, man, you know what I mean? We don't do enough of that as people. We next man or the next woman, you know what I mean? Because we so wrapped up in self. You know what I'm saying? It's a cat that I had good relationships with, right? You know what I'm saying? I call this dude my friend. You know what I mean? And he's been mentioned in the boxing scheme of things, but I'm not going to go off into that because I don't want to. I don't want to feel like I'm just like everybody else, right? Just, kicking at somebody when they displease me or whatever the case may be, right? Because I don't want to be that type of dude. I'm not that type of dude. I'm not going to start being that type of dude, contrary to the fact that this particular brother, right, has really, really, really hurt my feelings, you know, in the sense that me as an individual, as a loyalist, as a person that if I say something, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna do that. I told this cat that he is not my friend, right? And I'm gonna treat him in that light, right? There's nothing I would do for, you know what I mean? So when people that have put you in a position where you have wholeheartedly opened up and you have been there for them wholeheartedly and they kind of like slither away and start doing stuff that is diametrically opposed to friendship. I mean, isn't that like common for the way we treat one another? You know what I'm saying? Take that back. For the way y'all treat one another, because I'm not doing that, man. You know what I'm saying? I will say something to this dude indirectly or directly in regards to how I feel about him, right? But I'm not going to be like everybody else and uh, use him as a basketball or an instrument, right? To um, to get back at him. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna do that, right? I'm just gonna let it be known, and he hear me. You know what I'm saying? And keep it moving, right? I believe in treating somebody the way you want to be treated, but obviously everybody don't believe in that. You know what I mean? But that's okay. That's okay. As life glorifies itself, I will be a part of that glory. You heard me? That being said, the Mexican G man, you know, as always, brother, I got a praise in my prayer for you. Cause I believe in my heart you're a good dude, man. That being said, man, y'all hit that subscription button, hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section and let me know if I correctly clarified that error from yesterday and the duck, the master of ducks, Saul Canelo Alvarez. That being said, man, and look. Hit that subscription button. Hit that comment button. And why don't y'all stop being lames? Why don't y'all stop being lames to help me get my podcast up to speed and start sharing my videos with your friends and relatives. I know some of the things that I say. Now, I tell you what, if I change the dynamics of my podcast and sway it away from boxing and start talking about politics, I know I'll blossom because I am just as knowledgeable with politics as I am about boxing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do that because, contrary to the fact that you guys want somebody that's going to come up and perpetrate fraud on you, right? For the sole purpose of the dollar bill, the numbers, to 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 up their numbers, right? So they can get the dollar bill, right? Through the YouTube program. But now I need the dollar bill, but I don't need it so much where I am going to let my integrity impugn on who I am as a beautiful black man. You feel me? That being said, I'm going, y'all. I'll check y'all later.